Alright, so now we move on into level 4-3. So even then though, we're actually in the halfway point of Sonic Simulator mode. So even then though, after we've done that, then we're actually going to be showcasing the final thing before we actually end this Let's Play off. And that was in form of what happens if you collect all 7 of these Chaos Emeralds. So even then though, that every time when you actually just manage to complete all 3 acts, then there's one thing I need to point things out though, is that at the start of the game, once you actually first time playing through the Sonic Simulator mode, you probably noticed right off the bat though, is the fact that those Chaos Emerald icons is being completely lights out. However though, if you manage to complete all 3 of these acts per game land level, you actually got yourselves the Chaos Emeralds light up. So that means you actually collected the Chaos Emeralds. So yeah, it's pretty cool though nonetheless. So a few things I want to mention about this is the fact that one thing you might actually know something right off the bat though is that they have an issue we have with oh yeah, before we actually get into this, here we actually have ourselves the Act 3 variation of, you know, Game Land 4, is the fact that we're actually going on top of this little vertical level. So yeah, and basically we get ourselves our red Chaos Emerald now, so even though we technically already got it because we already gone for those Chaos Emeralds and not off screen. So for the most part, we just have to skip for the entire sequence of, you know, just trying to actually break through every single number. So yeah, that's all there is to really say about this point. So yeah, 4 stages out of the way, or in this case 4 game lands out of the way, and now we move on to Game Land 5, which I believe the music environment is actually or in this case the background music is actually heavily borrowed from Aquarium Park 8-bit rendition. So okay, so here we go with Act 1 of Game Land 5, and I believe this is actually inspired by Labyrinth Zone Act 1 from Sonic 1, so aka my least favorite level in Sonic 1. Well, as you expected that we need to actually get out of the water before we drown, so even then as soon as we actually just get out with some fresh air, or even just, you know, grab these air bubbles, so I actually don't mind the 8-bit rendition of you know, Aquarium Park themes. Even then, that's all there is to say. So a few things I want to mention about this is that, oh yeah, I have no idea why I just paused that right there, because for some reason I just kept on thinking to myself about the what happens that, you know, this little red orb thing, that occasionally you can actually switch between these different players. Even then I believe the only way you can only do it is I believe you can only do it with the 1.5 players. Even then yeah. So anyways, let's talk about these other relatable stuff. Is that unfortunately though for the Super Nintendo Classic Mini, unfortunately though that recently whenever I decided to realize on researching on this kinds of stuff since yesterday night, that for whatever reason that that particular console also sold out. So even then though, that really did bug me up at one point because it starts to get pretty expensive every nowadays, even especially noticeable in some situations like, you know, NES Classic Mini back in June 2016. But even then though, I'm assuming it's going to be doing the exactly same thing on the, you know, for the likes of the, you know, the NES Classic, SNES Classic Mini. So that's as far as I'm concerned. So I believe we're pretty much almost towards the end of the level right now. But even then though, we have to defeat a whole bunch of, why did my lock-on target does not even register properly? So, I believe the color environment on Game Land 5 is actually purple color, so even though we're hopefully going to get the purple Chaos Emerald, so yeah, that's all I can really say about this particular Game Land 5. So, Game Land 2, or in this case, Game Land 5-2, as far as we are originally trying to say that, and this is entirely in 3D, so even though we have to dodge a lot of billiard balls around here, so let's just see if we can actually just dodge those. So yeah, another thing I'd like to point things out though is the fact that tomorrow we actually got ourselves Crash Bandicoot Insane Trilogy is about to come until tomorrow. But even though we're still looking forward until that time comes. So even then, really excited about this. And also not to mention though, the another game we really consider looking forward to in this past few days or so. And that was the form of Kirby's Blowout Blast from Nintendo 3DS eShop download. And I believe the release date on those 3 countries at the moment, which are obviously Japan's, might actually get this first. Which, the release date on Kirby's Blowout Blast for the 3DS eShop, I believe it comes out on the 4th of July. And until next week, actually, we'll actually get ourselves a release on Kirby's Blowout Blast for the North American release date and also the European version, which kind of thinking about it, I almost get a little bit too nerve-wracking at one point, because even then though, if it doesn't release in Europe, then it might actually do the exact same thing as Kirby's Dream Collection for the Wii. So not like Westar, but even then, we got the release date in Europe, so even then though, at least we got that. The only thing I'm sure of, it was actually the price for the game, because I'm pretty sure it actually contains like 25 plus levels, which actually brings up a lot of stages to the table, unlike these just only 3 levels in Kirby Planet Robobot version of, you know. Okay, so we need to actually do this rail guarding section right there, and we pretty much reached towards the end right now. Seriously, that's really fast. So, yeah, I'm really excited to actually just to tackle through Kirby's Blowout Blast for the Nintendo 3DS eShop version. So even then, though, that's all I was to say. So, yeah, I was more concerned about, yeah. So, for what I've heard, that we recently saw ourselves overview trailer of that particular eShop downloadable game. That, as far as I can tell, that they actually bring up some different features and all that kinds of stuff. Like, for instance, they obviously add in amiibo functionality. Now, in regards to the amiibo functionality of the game this time around, though, is the fact that you only unlock these particular, even though it's entirely optional, if you, those would be very curious, if you want to actually just to get yourselves these spectacular models of Kirby and the rest of the gang, which basically allows you to give you some, you know, some extra trophies of, you know, Kirby, Mennonite, King DDD, and all that kinds of stuff. So, that's all there is to say about this part, to be honest with you. So, even then, there's not usually kind of much. So, anyway, so let's go ahead and just, even though it has been a while since we've actually gone back into Sonic Simulator for this. Ah, no! Oh, we have to go back, aren't we? Yeah, I'm pretty sure we have to go back. But even then, that because we didn't touch any checkpoints, so even then, that's not too bad, I suppose. So I believe this is going to be yet another vertical level, so even then, that we're going to be using those pink spikes. So, yeah, that should be pretty well compromised for that right there. So, yeah, another thing I'd like to point things out, though, is the fact that... Oh, you gotta be kidding me. Let's get rid of him. So, yeah, yeah, the annoying, item in the game, especially noticeable in this case... forget what I said. Anyway, the annoying, item or the hazard is usually involved in Sonic Simulator was actually forms of the Eggman's head with hearts all over the place. Because if you somehow manage to get closer towards them, then he will realistically try to attack you. So even then, you have to dodge that. The only way you can get rid of it, though, is to use a color power. So even then, that, or you can actually be slightly a little bit nerve-wracking for these parts, because all you have to do is basically you have to wait until when he just decides to go and disappear. So that's all there is to really say about this. So. And also that, judging by the fact that I believe we actually got ourselves, let's just say 14 days ago or something? No, I believe it's actually 15 days actually, because, yeah, because we're pretty much almost towards the end of June right now, so even at that, yeah. So, yeah, we pretty much guarantee we got ourselves 15 days to go until Cars 3, which is about to be launching, so... And also tomorrow, that Despicable Me 3 is about to be released on the theaters in June tomorrow, so even though... I'm pretty sure that I highly doubt it though, but even then though, that I really can't really tell the reviews of that particular review on that particular movie anyway. Now, I've heard from Rotten Tomatoes, or in this case Rotten Tomatoes actually, from .com, that usually he's just managed to give that film a pretty positive reviews, like 85% so far, which is pretty good actually. So anyways, now we move on into Gameland 6 in Act 1, and yeah, we pretty much now got our Purple Chaos Emerald. Well, we've already gotten that and off screen. So anyways, onwards to Gameland 6 Act 1, which I believe the music background is actually heavily influenced, is actually forms of Asteroid Coaster 8-bit version. And the color choice on the Chaos Emerald department is definitely the dark blue. So even then though, that the last one is definitely the light blue for sure. Which is kind of weird though, kind of thinking about it. Because originally it was supposed to actually try and make those Chaos Emeralds in exactly the same color order from Sonic Heroes, Sonic Rush, and etc, etc. However though, it decided to actually shuffled up a bit. So even then, that's not much else to actually just to say about it. So yeah, regardless of such though, it's not that bad actually for this particular level though, but even then though, yeah. Okay, so let's see if we can actually... Oh, what? I can't believe we got hit that right there. That's just plain rude. Anyway though, yeah, that's the only things I can say about it. Besides the fact that one thing you might actually did not notice and even do not even realize is the fact that we actually now managed to get ourselves our new console into our video game collection this time around. But the difference here is the fact that we actually got ourselves for the very first time. We actually got ourselves our American console, which technically we actually got ourselves our American Nintendo Wii. Now, the reason why we got that is because originally we were trying to sell Mario Super Sluggers, because even then though our preloaded disc was no longer there with us. Or in this case, it doesn't seem to work, and it doesn't seem to actually just input the codes correctly. Or even this is now a little bit more dated and all that kinds of stuff. So even then, that we actually got ourselves our third Wii, so that means we can actually play only one American game on that particular list so far, and that was the form of Mario Super Sluggers because of the Mario's game collection that we decided to collecting from. Now, originally we're trying to get Kirby's Dream Collection, but even then though, it's kind of expensive right now, so even then though, that I don't think that game will actually gonna be dropping price quite significantly, but even then though, we'll just see what happens. Okay, so Game Land 6 Act 2, which I believe from this particular level environment right there is going to be most likely forced on hover. So even then, that's all there is to say about this. In fact, the entire level on this particular act is most likely going to be forcing to use the hover wisp. So even then, yeah. So yeah, I finally managed to get ourselves our American model of the Nintendo Wii. We managed to get it from eBay actually, which is considerably good, considering how the fact that most commonly that during in United Kingdom anyway, that you're spending most of the time just actually actually research on that NTSC Wii. However, most of the time, more common for particular Nintendo Wiis every now and then was actually UK version. But however though, I actually got pretty lucky with the American Wii we actually got right now. But even though, we actually did play briefly on Mario Super Sluggers recently today. But even though, as far as I played it, it's actually really good actually. But even though, it can take a while to get used to the actual game itself for me. Because even though, this is actually the first time we're actually playing for the game for ourselves. But even though we already saw like a whole bunch of Let's Plays on that particular game so far, which I found was kind of cool by the looks of it. So even then though, that speaking of such, we might actually be looking forward until we actually decide to do a Let's Play on Mario Super Sluggers soon. But even then though, that's only because of the fact that we've now got ourselves our American Wii right now. So there's no need to actually deal with this little hacking and or anything like that. Although the only time you can play Mario Super Sluggers, those of you lived in the UK, is to actually hack the game. So even then though, if you want to actually just download Mario Super Sluggers onto your SD card, the fresh SD card or something like that, onto your Nintendo Wii console, then you should able to actually just play that game onto that UK Wii with these little hacking channel. So, while using that homebrew channel, which is definitely the recommendable channel if you want to actually just, download those all kinds of stuff. Which I'm sure many people already done that, so, anyways, now we move on into 6-3, so even then note that we only got about 4 stages to go. So, yeah. Oh, this particular sequence almost reminds me, almost related to the beginning part of level 6-2 already. But except the notable difference was though this time around though, Chip, is the fact that we can actually have a different choice between using the green hover wisp or the yellow drill wisp. So even then though, that it doesn't matter what wisp you're going to be using though, so... And yeah, and also at the same time, we're going to be dealing with the underwater elements here and there too. So, yeah, that's all I can really say about this particular level, honestly, when it comes to this specific gimmick. So as you expected, if you expecting to use in your the green hover wisp, and even especially noticeable in the yellow drill wisp, you're able to still survive underwater. So even then, that's as far as you might expect it to see how this is going. Oh yeah, by the way, there's actually an egg heart medallion right there. If those of you actually be very curious to actually grab one for these tons of points you want to get. So yeah, but again, it's entirely optional if those of you very curious what these does. So even then, it just adds up to your score count. So, yeah, that's all I could really say about Sonic Simulator, honestly, because it's more likely something is a little bit much more technically a special stages from the Wii version of Sonic Colors, because even though DS version already got the special stages just to begin with, so... But even then, that's all I can really imagine about it. So, there's no way you can actually fail on these particular stages like this, though. So, anyway, so let's see if we can actually reach towards the end. Ah, dang it! Okay, we're back again, so let's try that again. So hopefully we need to actually just do our best strategy on this particular last part, is that we need to actually activate the green hover, so just in case if we actually decide to go past this bottomless pit. Oh jeez, I did not even realize that. Although there's also the alternative way, which is simply you have to go for the highest point if you actually exit out the drill wisp. Even though that it's really hard to do it for me, and really hard to perform it right. Anyways, so now we got one more game land left, and now it's game land 7 in Act 1. So, I'm assuming the music background is actually influenced by Terminal Velocity's stage, but in the 8-bit formation. So, as far as in this particular stage in general, this is actually heavily borrowed from Starlight Zone Act 1 in Sonic 1. So even then though, I believe this is going to be the final time we're going to be seeing the inspiring level environments since Sonic the Hedgehog 1 days. And I'm pretty sure that we've pretty much gone through every single one of them for these inspired Act 1 variations of Sonic 1 levels. So even then though, because you know Sonic 1 does contain just only 6 zones instead of 7, unlike how it does it on 11 zones from Sonic 2, and even especially noticeable. And I'm pretty sure Sonic Pocket Adventure, but even then, even then, Sonic Pocket Adventure only contains only 6 zones, excluding the last zone here and there too, like Last Utopia, and even Chaotic Angel. Oh no, not Chaotic Angel. I think of something else for a moment ago. But anyway, so that's that. So now we move on to Gameland-2, or in this case, Gameland 7-2, and then hopefully we can actually get these things done. So as far as I can tell, that Gameland 7 is going to be quite tricky for first-time players, because even then though, that's, oh gosh, I remember this level. Basically, we're going for a vertical type of level again, but this time we're going to be, main usage of this level is actually forms of the orange rocket wisps. So even then though, that should be expected it to. Before we proceed, there's our Eggman medallion heart right there, so just in case we can actually just hopefully try to grab it. If you those would be very curious about trying to actually grab it and obtaining one, so yeah, that's what I can imagine. Now, you know I mentioned this before about we actually got ourselves our American Nintendo Wii right now? But even though that, as far as I can tell, that we actually did manage to get not only 1, but 2 extra Wii games that we already got. Well, technically we already got those, because even though these are the games we've already considered getting it, or we already got them through for the PAL version, which are both Wii Sports, Wii Sports Resorts, and Wii Fit Plus. But even though, again, we already got those from the PAL region, so there's no really point to actually getting ourselves the duplicate versions of, you know, Wii Sports, Wii Sports Resorts, and even especially noticeable in Wii Fit Plus especially. So even then, because we like to keep it more likely a physical release for the PAL version releases, but even then, the only game we're definitely going to be keeping is Mario Super Sluggers for sure, because even then, that's all the game that we're really expecting it to. So yeah, as far as I'm concerned, that because, you know, that game only saw the releasing on Japan and North America, but sadly not releasing on Australia or even Europe, so yeah, because as a result, because, you know, baseball is actually a little bit more popular in North America or something like that accordingly. But even then, that's all I can really heard about that, so yeah. So, yeah, that's all I can really say about this particular point, folks. This is basically, although we will discuss more details on... Oh my lord, there's actually a fastest number ball, which is a number 4 one. But even then, though, that the 4 ball was actually probably by far the worst ball, because even then, though, it goes way too fast, and plus, as a result, you might actually gonna get hit by this thing a lot. But anyways, we're actually onto the goal ring right now, so even then, there's a long elevated sequence here and there as well. So even then, if we manage to come towards that particular sequence, then we have to wait for a little bit, so yeah. Alright, now for the last level in Sonic Simulator, which was level 7-3. Okay, quick edit right there. Sorry about that, folks. This is basically we have to charge our laptop yet again, because for some reason our laptop batteries is kept on running low, so even then, we always have to fetch those, and eventually, we should be able to actually finish this act before we actually showcase off the last part of this Let's Play about, you know, for several weeks from now. So here we go with Act 3 in Gameland 7. So even then, we start things off with, you know, the 3D playing real quickly. So, yeah, in regards to such though, however, though, as I mentioned this earlier ago, is the fact that in the terminal velocity level, there is no ranking for Act 2 variation because, you know, it's just basically just a autopilot sequence or something like that. Although you can take control of Sonic if you actually just manage to quick step and jump and everything. So even though there aren't any color powers besides the color blaster for you know, the final boss of the game. So, okay, so this particular sequence right there, we're going to be spending most of our time swimming underwater, and also at the same time that we're going to be drilling for these parts, because again, if you want to live on the underwater segments, you got to be sure you need to activate the rocket wisp if you want to actually get some fresh air back, or even just a drill wisp, whatever you prefer. So, as far as I can tell, that this level is by far the longest level in the Sonic Simulator levels, because there's going to be a lot of emphasis on exploration at times. Even especially noticeable, they constantly put in there's too many hard blocks you need to bust out through. So even then, that's all I can really imagine about that. So, yeah. Yeah, because of this though, you constantly be seeing this whole particular autopilot sequence right there, especially noticeable if you actually just to be sure if you shifting to 2D to 3D elements. So, yeah, that's all I can really imagine about it. So, as far as playing Mario Super Sluggers is concerned, that's dang it, I totally forgot if there was actually a bottomless pit right there. This is not good. Anyway though, as far as we actually did play Mario Super Sluggers in our own time, actually, the only point we actually got to the point is that, although recently we managed to completely done with Mario Stadium already, we even know that it's kind of short though, kind of think about it, but there's going to be a lot of exploration going on when it comes to unlocking stuff and stuff like that, and also the whole Balancia teammate system as far as I'm concerned. So yeah, the only stage we actually got into was actually Peach Ice Garden Hub World. So even then, the only point we actually got stuck on, it was actually a form of you need to deal with the buddy move in order to actually get it out, which I swear to God, I got confused at one point, but after when I researched on it, you must able to be sure you have to press the B button at the right time, and then flick the Wiimote straight forward until you actually get it out with the buddy move. So yeah, it's one thing I need to clarify that, and hopefully we might as well catch up onto that. But that doesn't stop there, though, until when it gets to the point where I actually can't wait until we play Crash Bandicoot Insane Trilogy on the PlayStation 4. But even then, I'm really looking forward until, you know, that game comes out, so... And also until during a couple of days later, there's going to be Mega Man Legacy Collection 2 will be on its way, so even though we're definitely looking forward to that as well, even for Mega Man 8. So, yeah, to be very curious to actually try that out. But as far as I've heard that from Mega Man 8, it's actually a pretty okay Mega Man game, but it's just the fact that, yeah. So here we go, folks, that's it for Sonic Simulator level. So, and yeah, this is what happens if you manage to get yourselves all 7 of these Chaos Emeralds, and this will have to be the final Chaos Emerald for Light Blue, which I haven't exactly mentioned about the color background this actually works. So, and yeah, in order to actually unlock the final level in Sonic Simulator mode, you have to be sure you need to collect all 180 red star rings. If you do, then you should be able to actually clarify you get yourselves the chance to get yourselves the last Chaos Emerald. So, yeah, as far as if you actually complete all 21 stages. So, yeah, because, you know, 7 times 3 math I can't speak today. Math problems and all that stuff. So, once you get all 7 of these Chaos Emeralds, and also at the same time, if you completely done with 21 stages, you can pretty much guarantee that you get, if you go to the satellite thing over there, this will actually lead you to the options menu. And wait, how come there's Supersonic option right there? Is there a way to turn on and off? I think we're gonna have to turn it on actually, so even then I might be curious to actually see what happens. And every once in a while, you're going to be seeing those little whole bunch of cutscenes if you actually just enjoy watching those cutscenes. Even especially noticeable if you actually really enjoy the humor and especially jokes and all that stuff. So yeah. Okay, quick error right there. Sorry about that, folks, yet again. But it's just the fact that we'll explain more details on that later. So anyways, as you can see, the satellite is now glowing. So you know what that means? I believe this might be something a little bit more interesting. In fact, let's go ahead and demonstrate within Sweet Mountain level. And let's go for Act 1, because even then, that's the only level we're going to be demonstrating on. As you can see, Supersonic was actually on the hub world, in this case, the underworld map. What happens was, though, is the fact that every time when you're trying to turn on Supersonic mode, what happens was, though, is that, much like any other Sonic games at this point in time, in order to actually transform into Supersonic, you must able to actually be sure you have to collect 50 rings at the in any level. Every time you collect all 50 of these rings, then it's your chance to actually have a time to actually transform into Supersonic. So that's as far as memories go, that's all there is to say. So, and also at the same time that you should able to actually just to get yourselves, although we will discuss more details on Supersonic as soon as we actually transform into him. So yeah, this is pretty interesting, and also it's quite exciting because ever since Sonic the Hedgehog 3 and Knuckles, that we do have the ability to transform into Supersonic in any level except for the final bosses. Well, at least since Sonic Adventure through Sonic Unleashed, that Supersonic has always been a final boss event. So anyways, we got ourselves these 50 rings. So what happens was though is that if you press the Z button on the GameCube controller, as you can see there's actually a Chaos symbol, which this allows you to transform into Supersonic! Yes, you hear that right, you can now actually finally play as Supersonic in a 3D Sonic game. Yeah, about freaking time. Well, this will later actually reduces that until when it gets to Sonic Generations, Sonic Lost World, and even, I'm not exactly sure on Sonic Forces though, but even then we'll have to find this out during a later time down the road. But I was really hoping that will make it a return on Sonic Mania, so even then I'll just have to wait and find out and see what happens too. So yeah, what the Supersonic can actually do in this game is the fact that you can actually just to zoom in really fast. Although, unfortunately though, he doesn't perform a double jump ability. And at the same time, as you can clearly see for just about a few seconds ago, we can't actually use our color powers. Like, for instance, for example, we can't actually use our yellow drill wisp this time around. Because, granted, because although the only way you can actually get even multitude of points is that you can actually keep on Supersonic for quite a long time. Oh man, I kinda wish this game will actually make its HD re-releases until soon. Well, especially the PC version or something like that. So, anyway, so Supersonic, that you can actually, every time you actually keep on Supersonic for quite a long time, you actually get yourself some additional points. And what makes this awesome about Supersonic as well is that if we come towards this little dash jump ramp right there with the, you know, the tapping A button rapidly, this happens. You get yourselves an instant amazing rating every time when you become Supersonic formation, assuming if you actually just get to this sequence. So yeah, it's pretty interesting and awesome. So yeah, with regards to does it worth anything for the Red Star Wings in order to actually unlock yourself Supersonic and also collect all 7 of these Chaos Emeralds? It's definitely worth it, because even then though, that you get yourselves a ton of points to disposal, and also at the same time it has been a freaking long time until we actually see Supersonic in 3D in any playable 3D stages. So the only exception is the DS version, which I understand that because they actually put in a NECA Mother Wisp as far as the actual boss is concerned. So yeah, regardless of that, however though, that's pretty worth it. So, yeah, let's go ahead and just turn the Supersonic off at that one point. Yeah, we're just only showcase off these, just only one stage. Although, it might be possible to actually deal with some of these boss battles as Supersonic, but I haven't really tested it out though, because some of these boss battles are really easy to actually just to KO them. So, yeah, that's pretty much it for Supersonic, and that's all there is to say about this Sonic Colors Let's Play. I hope you guys do enjoy it, and including us as well, which even then, oh yeah, one more thing before we actually end this Let's Play off is that, as you can see, we're actually on the X Shuttle, which basically this allows you can actually just to explore these previous stages, but except in score-based runs, so yeah, there's not much else to discuss. But even then, we're not tackling for that, so yeah, thank you so much guys for watching our Let's Play of Sonic Colors for the Nintendo Wii. This is me, Duffy, and Chip here from the Maxi Toys. And tune in next time on the Sonic 3D Sonic games retrospective. It will probably go for Sonic Generations for the Xbox 360 and PlayStation 3. So let you guys be looking forward to that. So see you guys then. Bye. See you guys then.